Christine, Jimmy, and Doug are spending the summer of 1954 at the stunning Varney Lake. They'll spend their days and nights fishing, watching the clouds, playing games, watching horror movies at the old drive-in, and befriending a vampire? But all is not quite as it seems. In 1981, Lou, author and paranormal investigator, reaches out to the now adult Jimmy and Christine to learn what truly happened that summer. This is Varney Lake, a heartwarming yet spine-chilling tale of unlikely friendships, memories both painful and sweet, and plenty of cheesy vampire puns. Varney Lake is the second of Pixel Pulps, a series of short visual novels developed by LCB Game Studios and published by Chorus Worldwide. It follows the 2022 release Mothman 1966 and features several returning characters from that game. The Pixel Pulp games are inspired by a combination of classic horror film and fiction and the pixel art style of 1980s video games. I previously played and reviewed Mothman 1966 and absolutely loved it, so I definitely had high hopes for Varney Lake. And it delivered. Varney Lake retains its predecessor's fast-paced writing, unique aesthetics, and generally creepy atmosphere, and adds to it an even deeper and more fleshed-out story that features unique subversions of some of the tired, expected vampire tropes. The central story of Varney Lake centers around friends Jimmy, Christine, and Doug, and their growing bond with the vampire List. The 1954 chapters were charming and genuine, with the dialogue feeling true to how real kids would talk, and tasks like catching a rare fish or seeing a cloud that looks like Mount Rushmore were treated as epic quests. The 1981 segments had a darker, grimmer tone, dealing with the lingering aftershocks of the trio's friendship with List, and I felt that the two different tones balanced each other out very well. I think the 1954 segments are particularly well written. I love the blend of heartwarming friendship with genuine horror. The focus on Fangs bonding while also delving deeper into the paranormal occurrences around them will probably endear many Stranger Things fans to this game. And that leads me to the absolute best thing about this game. List. List is a fantastic character. He's a centuries-old vampire who looks like a character from a black and white movie. He's got long dark hair, sallow face, glowing eyes, but he genuinely wants to befriend these kids, and is so thankful to them for helping save him from the sunlight at the beginning of the game. There's something genuinely charming and likable about the guy. From the Edward Gorey-esque horror stories he tells them, to his attempt to connect with the youth by serving them hopelessly flat, decades-old soda. And his protectiveness towards the kids is the source of the game's most heartwarming moments. There are plenty of likable characters in Varney Lake, but List in particular is something special. In addition to a compelling story, Varney Lake has some pretty fun gameplay as well. Although it is a short game, with a full run-through clocking in at around 2 hours, there is still plenty of replay value in the form of achievements and gallery images to unlock, with repeatable puzzles and secret scenes to view. And I do recommend getting those secret scenes. They are solid additions to the story that shed light on a few questions you may have after finishing the game. Varney Lake improved over its predecessor by having a more tangible puzzle reward in the form of a large image gallery, but I do still wish that there was a chapter select screen available after you finish the game. I don't want to have to fill multiple save slots to have quick access to my favorite puzzles and minigames. As for those puzzles and minigames, I thought they were a pretty great variety. There are card games, dice games, matchstick puzzles, and even a fishing minigame that I found myself enjoying, which is impressive. I've spent probably dozens of hours fishing in titles like Stardew Valley and Final Fantasy XV, and I find them generally more frustrating than fun. The one exception was the oddly named Gout Tourette's. It makes sense in context, I promise. Which is a quite clumsy game, and it involves you selecting directional inputs on the screen rather than simply being able to use your computer's built-in arrow keys. In almost every area, though, Varney Lake was an improvement over its already great predecessor. One I haven't mentioned yet is the soundtrack. I took off some points from my review of Mothman 1966 because the soundtrack mostly consisted of repetitive beeps. Varney Lake, fortunately, lowers the pitch of the beeps significantly and also adds in fun ambient sounds like rain, wind, and even sound effects when List acts out one of his stories. I'd like to particularly shout out the "As the Rivers Flow, So Does My Day" song, which fully captures the nostalgia of childhood summers and gives some serious Stand By Me vibes. Possibly my only note for the game is that it occupies a somewhat weird space between a solid standalone experience and a sequel that absolutely requires you to have played Mothman 1966. This isn't necessarily a bad thing. Again, Mothman 1966 is great, and I encourage everyone watching this to play if you haven't already. but it is a little off-putting at a few moments. You can understand the plot of Varney Lake without having played Mothman, but you will miss a lot of lore and references, and the presence of an entire character will not really have as much of an impact. In particular, Xantos' POV chapter might feel a bit random and tonally off if you don't know the character's origin from the first Pixel Pulp game. I'd love to see a bundled version of the Pulp someday, and since the developer is already working on a third one, Bodson Knights, a complete trilogy set would be extra amazing. Make it happen, LCB. You can play the first few chapters of Mothman and Bansen as free demos included with Varney, which is a great choice on the developer's part. Overall, Varney Lake is a wonderful experience that combines heartwarming nostalgia with chilling terror and does not overstay its welcome. I would recommend this game for any fans of horror games and classic films, as well as any gamers looking for a fun twist on the usual vampire tale.
9 out of 10. Kate recommends.
Enjoy your summer at Varney Lake, and remember, things and people are not always as they seem.